Hi Bertold, hi again.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine. Curious about your questions.
Yeah, today I want to explore a subject, the facilitator loneliness, or how do we stay nourished while we do this work, the family constellation work. Because in the family constellation work, the facilitator holds space for many challenges of other people, for many lives of other people. And I want to talk about something that we sometimes forget or we don't talk about, and it's the inner life of the facilitator. What happens to the facilitator when so again, I'm happy to sit with you. You're one of my main family constellation teachers and a mentor, and you're doing this work for over than 30 years, right?
Yeah, now 30 years.
Wow. So I feel honored to have your wisdom on it. Um, I recently listened to a trauma conference in Oxford University. They do it every year. And Dan Siegel, one of the presenter there, he asked the question, how do we take care of ourselves as therapists, or in our case, facilitators? And I think he asked it because many therapists said they feel lonely or empty or burnout. And when I mentioned it to you, you said that you don't, at least the loneliness part, you don't feel it. So I'm very
I'm not
curious.
lonely.
Yes, I want to know what helps you stay grounded and connected in this work.
Yeah, basically, when you were talking, I was thinking about my beginning. And I had years where I was so exhausted. I wasn't feeling lonely, but I was exhausted. And I needed really a long time to realize that this had to do that in a subtle way, I wanted to heal my personal wounds by this work. So I had done when I started to lead Constellation, I had done personal work. At that time, there were no training, so we started, and it was totally fine, and it was juicy and everything. And at the same time, I realized in a way that there are deeper wounds in myself. And when I just go on and doing constellation with other people who have the same wounds, that is not healthy in a way. So that, and I see that this is basically maybe normal for therapists. They want to heal themselves by healing other people. So they hope in an unconscious way, when I heal others, I heal myself too. And this is a little bit, you can do something good for you when you do the work. So it's not totally wrong, but at the same time, on a long, during years, that you exhaust, you get burned out, you're really becoming weak or maybe lonely. It depends of your background.
Mm.
So
So you're actually saying that if a facilitator feels lonely, he actually needs to look back.
yeah, that is my only thing. You have to face your loneliness from the childhood, from your family, not to think it has to do with the work. It has to do with your background, with what you bring with you. Because when you don't feel, when you feel nourished by your family, when you feel the connection, you will not feel lonely in a group with other people where you are doing a good thing, good support.
So what changed through the years, and that now you feel nourished and
Yeah. And basically, I continue my personal work.
Mhm. So
So and
the
it goes deepening and deepening and deepening. I'm so surprised. I'm so old and so surprising basic trauma of my childhood, of my birth, even coming up in the last month. So it's amazing.
wow.
So that means it's like a spiral. You get you will be healed, but there are deeper layers. And basically, when you are totally healed, you would be like Buddha. So hopefully, I don't know. But that means that it's not so easy just to think you are healed because you are a therapist.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with it's almost like if you choose this route, it means constant self-work
No way.
to be better for others and for yourself as well. And I remember a really wonderful exercise you gave us of when you face something that is hard, you always go back and find it in the lineage, give it back in a way so you can be free when you face your client again. Um, do you notice a difference between group facilitation and one-on-one facilitation? Maybe I will say for myself that when I host groups, most of the time I feel very nourished, um, or I feel this connection or good energy when I'm finished. Sometimes when I do one-on-one, I might feel lonely or empty, or especially in Zoom, that I don't know. What do you?
So basically, when I started, I wanted to do always groups. And my wife and I, we started in Germany leading trainings. And she also liked to do individual sessions. And she was doing also systemic training and enjoyed really individual session. I enjoyed only groups. And I did some coaching for managers, but not really individual work, which is going deep. And at that time, I had a little feeling of being superior because groups are more challenging and there's only one person. And I needed really some time. It was when I started with the trauma work of Peter Levine that I realized, no, for me, it's just the contrary. The individual work is much more challenging because I'm too open. So, and I did not yet have the boundaries to be really protected. And when I'm in a group, it's different because even now I can face the heaviest issues of a client when he comes in front of me in a group. But at the same time, there's a group in the background. And this is a kind of support for me because I cannot really totally dive into the client because one part of my attention is with the group because I'm group leader at the same time. So I do also work for them. So I can work and now I can also face difficult clients in individual sessions, but I needed really time to learn to be more centered in myself and not, it is it needs to be I need to be grounded. I need to be centered. If I'm not grounded, I will be pulled into the client's problems. And therefore, I think when you are feeling bad after an individual session, you should do this exercise, looking back from where it comes. You are connected. It's like you are like a representative who is not yet totally out of a role, so you have to give it back.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. it's funny because it seems like, oh, group is harder because it's people and they're alive, but they're actually helping to hold the space in a way, and it's very interesting. So, when you
I
do,
say group has challenges on other levels,
I
but level is just easier to be centered.
And what is your perspective? The group is coming, is maybe bringing challenges and being representative. You, as a facilitator, have a different place in this circle. What exactly is this place? How do you see yourself equal? Do you see yourself, how do you?
It's a question I'm just thinking in the last weeks also about, because maybe I write something about the knowing field, and one chapter would be the role of the facilitator, because that is really it's so many dimensions to this role. So to make it just starting simple, when I started to lead groups, not when I was 25 or 30, I started to lead groups and self-awareness groups and things like that. And at that time, I wanted always to be a part of the group. So I did exercises also with them, or was in the group sharing. I wanted to be a part of them. And after 3 or 4, after two years, I would say, I realized this is cost me a lot of effort to have both. So I really had to decide, no, in this way, I'm not this part of a group. I cannot really feel as a part of a group. I'm the group leader. That's a different job. It's a different responsibility, and it's a different role. So that is important. So I know I have this special role. So in constellations groups, my point of view is I feel I'm a part of this knowing field. So that means I'm not an outsider of the field. So that means the representatives are forming the field, and I'm the outsider who is leading, directing, asking, or allowing, or whatever. This is not my understanding. When I'm leading, it means I am following my intuition, and I feel this is also part of this field. So therefore I can allow it. And I am very flexible because I know the representatives are closer to this, what is really true in this moment for them. So I feel free to have suggestions which may sometimes be wrong, but there's no harm. And with that, there's a life in that. It's not that I try to keep that or to have a certain authority. No, I can flow with that field. This gives me a lot of freedom.
So just to understand, the field is supporting you,
No, I'm part of the field.
part of the field.
Like an representative. Yes, some energies which are coming up, and there are some energies coming up in me.
But sometimes, I mean, the facilitator is almost like a driver. He's containing the group, or because if he's not balanced or grounded or nourished, there's no good container for the field.
Yeah, you have to be a good container. At the same time, I would say not for the field, because the field is so much bigger.
Yeah.
I just have to say I was in an intervision group last week, and because I wanted it, we made a constellation or a ritual. Everybody, or there was standing someone representing the knowing field, and each of us came in front of the field and felt the special connection to the field, and the field said something to everybody different, but very loving and caring.
Wow.
And I could feel the field I was so full of respect for the field, could just bow before it. So I feel much smaller. The field is so much bigger than me. And at the same time, the field just told me that it wants to be more in me or something like that. So I feel,
Wow.
hopefully, I look forward to the next groups.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I love it. It's very
Oh,
experiential
yes.
exercise. Yeah.
I don't take it so serious, and at the same time, I take it very serious.
That's what I like. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I will say for myself that when I sit with you or do a session with you, there's a lot of quiet in the space. There's a lot of, sometimes I can come very, distracted, and I really feel like I'm falling into the chair when I speak with you. So I'm going to ask a question I asked maybe before. What is the secret? What is your secret?
Want to know my secrets?
All the secrets.
And I shall even talk publicly about the secrets.
Forget about the audience.
No, it's about to be silent myself. So it's a kind of, I have in a way to prepare in a way, because I know now comes a session. Recently, I had someone who wanted to just come out to the session when he had time during 2 hours or something. I said, no, this is not good for me. I need to know to have a fixed time. And then something in me, it's not that I do something in me gets prepared. It's like in a group. I know there is a group, something in me gets prepared. So, and then I'm becoming more centered, I would say. And with this centeredness, I can invite other people also to be more centered or more silent.
Do you do any rituals before you host a group? I know for myself, I sometimes meditate, and I do an exercise that I heard from you actually, to be held by the chair, and I feel all my lineage behind me, and so I'm wondering if you do anything.
There are so many ways. It is good I don't do anything. And, most days I sit and half an hour silently, and when in a seminar I do that too, but this is not a special preparation for the work. So
Okay. Do you have any tip for facilitators that lose their groundness in the middle of a session or a group?
it's different when we're off group so let's start with a group. It's more simple in a way in the group. What I do is just first you have to notice it. That you lose the ground, that you get confused. So in the moment where you notice it, it is good to admit it. So I say, oh, I see, now I get confused. And what I do is I go some steps out of this field and I say, I need a minute to center myself or something. So, and then I have a little bit more distance. Distance is always something which is helpful when you are overwhelmed by it. So spatial distance is so important in my work when I do constellations, and also for me. So I go some steps back, and then I continue. And what I think that is so good for me in my work, because I know I can stop a constellation at any moment. It's not a loss. It's not a failure. It's not I don't know what people have in mind when they think I stop in any moment. I know I can do it. I can say, now I'm still confused. I tried 3 minutes to get out of my confusion. I'm still confused. I stop it right now.
And what do you tell the participant? Because most time people bring very deep challenges. It's very gentle. How do you make them come out in a good way and not, oh no, he cannot deal with me. It's too much for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so nice to talk about. It's good to see it. In a way, you have to be present for and I'm listening. And in the last years, I started to interrupt clients and to invite them to breathe. That is my main instrument, I say. Because if somebody talks about trauma and you hear the story, it starts with this tension. I had this accident. There was a car crash and I was wounded so much. That is a story he had told already 100 times. Nothing is changing by telling it. And when I listen it, I get the tensions. And I don't want to get tensions from the clients. I have my own tensions. They are enough.
Yeah.
So I don't want still to have tensions of the client. So I stop. It's a nice way. You have to stop.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm a little bit too harsh. I learn to be nicer. And then you just say, feel it, stop for a moment. And I say, it's too fast for me because I get so many tension. So it's not like I totally give it to the client. I just say, it has to do with me. I cannot hear it or I get so tense when I hear it. Please stop for a moment. And now still hear the words you just told me. You had such an accident. And breathe. And he said, just stop, still a minute more. Or not a minute, some seconds more. Please do it for me. And then I also say, now I can listen again. And it's reducing the speed. And now the client is connecting with the issue. And so I try to hear, to listen, and to connect him, if it's traumatic, and me with what happened.
And did it happen to you that you stopped the constellation because you felt you're confused?
No, not
No,
yet.
not yet. Wonderful.
Wait. Yeah. Once it was not, it was before the constellation. I was standing with a client and he explained me this situation of his family. And there was so much and I started to get confused. And then I said, this is right now too much. We will do it after the next break. In the break, I went to him with a paper and I made some notes about the family, just to have it in hands, because it was so complex. And normally the families are also so confused, and I get the confusion. But I don't need the confusions. So I had really the paper. I went in with the paper. I didn't need it, but I knew when I needed it, I would look at it. So it's just practical. I don't make it so. I wanted to do the constellation, but not confused. So I had to come out of the confusion that this was the only way I knew at this moment.
And then you continued after the break?
Yeah, I did another constellation, and in the break, I asked the client, and then I did his constellation.
Interesting. So it didn't happen to you, but it makes you feel free if you know you can stop it at any time.
Yeah, because otherwise, I don't know the people, when you are listening to us, what is in your head when you think, oh my God, this is not going further. Shall I stop? And then what is coming up? these voices which just tell you, oh my God, the client is not good for him, as a group, for my reputation, for whatever. And this is not so healthy for you.
Yeah.
If
But
you really
yeah.
learn and know it's good and you can stop it, then you are free. And then you don't need it, maybe.
Yeah. So the first thing when a facilitator is losing his way is to stop and actually tell to himself, I just lost my way. I need to stop for a second, maybe take some steps back.
Yeah, I say to the group. It's not to myself. I say to the group.
So you're being honest with the group about how you are feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I have not this image to be this super leader who does everything perfect. No, I'm human, and and this helps people to be human themselves. If they say, see, some people come with such big eyes. Oh my God, I read the books of you. Now I see you. So they have to come down and see that I make mistakes and I'm doing my best like everybody else too.
I really like it because it's very hard to to see someone very respectful in eye level sometimes. You go to conference, you see big people who done so much work, and it's like, oh, but
Yeah, I know. I know Hellinger, when he was at the time, he said, you should be on the same level. And you should see the family behind his client, and then you are on the same level. But it was not true, because he was telling that on the stage, and when he had finished, all the people came with such eyes.
I agree.
Looking up to him. So you cannot avoid it, or so you have to deal with it.
Yeah. It's a strange balance because
you shouldn't make it stronger. And the more you hide your humanness, the stronger you make that the people think this is superhuman.
So I really like it, and I'm going to emphasize it. Introducing yourself as human allow other humans to be humans. It's allowed to make mistakes. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Okay, that's wonderful. My next question is, what is the thing that you so love about this work that keeps you doing it year after year after year?
One thing is, I'm becoming so alive.
Wow.
And present. And when I was younger, I was interested in, once in a while, in a woman, and I could feel how present I became. And that was the moments where I was the most present. I feel this was a game of flirting, and I was so present. And when this phase of my life decreased, so then I found it's the same challenge when you sit with a client. It's become present to feel what is going on, to connect, to deal, and so this is one thing which I like, to be present. And the other thing is, there is this, where is your biggest wound, is your biggest potential. And I became aware my family on the surface was not a wound, perfect, but on the inside I was very wounded. And so the family was a wound. And therefore, when I could heal that, started to heal it for myself, I wanted to spread it. So this is really what I like to that other people can also connect with their parents, with their families, with their ancestors.
It's very beautiful. I have to admit that I see it in many other people and in myself, that we follow sometimes after the challenge, and that becomes kind of a resource. Because I have a tendency to be space out, but I find that when I work in this work, I'm very grounded, and that's what attracts me to it, because I track this presence.
Understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I think this is for work in general. It's grounding you because you are no more so in your personal story. You are facing that you do something. You can be a carpenter or a psychotherapist, whatever. It's grounding you. You work in a company. You are a grown up there. Nobody is interested in your wounds of the child. So this is grounding. So, but for a facilitator with human people, that is especially grounding, because you need it. You need this ground there.
Yeah. It took me a while to understand it, because when I was young and I went to sessions, I always searched for the perfect person. So if somebody was divorced, I was like, oh, why would I go to somebody divorced if I want to be in a good but now I see it so differently. And I want to tell all the people who goes to, to become more, to have, better presence and containment, that, the facilitator or the therapist is not perfect, and it's totally fine. It's,
Yeah, at the same time, when you must be present when you meet the person, and to check, can you trust the person? That is the most important
for the client.
For the client, as a client. Yeah.
So that's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is someone you was reading and it was wonderful in books or whatever, and when you meet him, you feel, something is not so, and then you have to trust your own intuition and not, he's so famous, or my other friends tell how good he or she is. You must trust yourself.
Okay, I like this tip, because some people have trust issue anyway, so it's hard for them even to go. But I like, trust your gut when it comes to choosing a person to accompany you. Yeah.
I know people who don't do it, and I know, I just have in mind a friend doing therapy with a therapist where it's such knots, and she doesn't stop and goes to someone where there are no knots, and the therapist is not stopping. So, okay, I don't bother.
Do you think it's a responsibility of the facilitator or therapist, when he sees the client cannot trust, to tell him maybe it's not a good fit?
Maybe it's not a trust issue, because a client won't tell you, I don't trust you. Then it would be clear and open. Then they could deal with that.
Yeah.
But seeing that there is not a good outcome, and if you have the feeling this client comes back always with the same or different, or there's no growth, then it would be good at least to discuss it with the client.
Yeah.
How do you see it? I see nothing is happening to you. How do you feel? Is something happening for you what I don't see? Just open. Or wouldn't it better to stop? Or what do you think about it? Just dealing with that.
Yeah. So again, it's being honest with the client or with the group, and
With
even
yourself?
with
Yeah.
yourself, and even as facilitator, you're not God, you're just a person, but you are the leader. So
Yeah.
that's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a role.
Yeah, I agree.
It's interesting. What does it mean?
I think it's a journey of exploration, because it's not just people can tell you. It's a very gentle balance between,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you need these good qualities of the parents in a
Explain.
way.
Yeah.
That means that you are caring, you are loving, you are supporting, you are accepting. So, and the important difference is you are not bigger than your client. You're on the same level. But these qualities are needed for the role, not for this. It doesn't make a difference of the position, but
Okay.
for the role is needed.
Yes, and I really liked it in this method, family constellation. You are not um, taking the place of the parents. There is already parents. There is already a mother. I'm the facilitator, and because in some other methods, there's a time that you repairing the connection by being.
Yeah, if you are doing it in a conscious way and responsible, there are different methods. I was just thinking psychoanalysis is in a certain way provoking the same things, but in a conscious way, and they know what they're doing. The danger is when you are not knowing, unconsciously you are drawn in a field where you should be like a parent or behave as a parent.
Oh, that's very interesting for me. I like it, because so you're actually saying it's okay to use this as long as you know what you're doing, and you're
Yeah,
not confusing yourself with the mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is when when even Bert Hellinger, or in this movement which is interrupted when some child was uh, separated from the mother, let's say if it's 1 year for a month, and then something is blocked between the connection. And then Hellinger at that time, he said, I cannot do a constellation for that because this is not an issue for a constellation.
Mm.
I said, we do something different. Sit before me, one just front of me. I sit before you, and I turn into your mother. So it was representing in a way for himself the
Wow.
mother. So you could say it's also a constellation, but he said this is something different, because then had no sentence. He just sat before the person with open hands, and then he told to this person who was like, "Oh my God, just say please and open your arms and come closer." And it was so painful for the child, because it was turning in back into this old pain and now going beyond, because beneath the pain is a longing.
Yeah.
And Hellinger was saying, now you can fulfill your longing, because I'm in the place of your mother. And then he holds the client.
Wow.
But he was so clear that the person was turning in a maternal or paternal figure. It was just a role, but it was like a mother.
Oh, wow. I'm happy you told this story, because for me, I feel more allowed to do
Yeah,
it, and more free, that I don't need to. I'm not the mother. I'm not the father. So
yeah.
yes.
And you need these qualities. You need once in a while to behave like a mother or like a father.
Yeah. Mm.
So, and yeah, you see, when I just have in mind when there's a child and has problems with, let's say, with a mother, and finally the mother says, I want to hug the child. Then in a constellation, I often say, just stand, don't go to the child. The child should go towards you. So, and it's difficult for the child, but it's a movement of the child. And the mother can say, I'm always here for you. And then It's because when the mother goes to the child, then you can feel her neediness.
Yeah.
And often the mother then hugs the child, the daughter, and the head of the mother is on the shoulder of the daughter. This is what the daughter knows all her life.
That's
How
good
we
for,
have to
yeah.
make something different. But there's one exception.
Yeah.
When a child is, let's say, in a traumatized state, felt really lonely and lost, then it's important that the mother or the father goes to the child and not just say, I'm here, you have to come. No, if the child is totally lost, the parent has to go.
But most times, if the child is so stressed, it's because of some trauma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's a balance, and then you follow your intuition. Yeah.
Sometimes that, sometimes the other.
So again, it's trust your intuition as a facilitator.
Yeah, and you can see it. You have to learn it, and you can see it. It's not so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so difficult and dangerous. Everybody can see it.
So it's just observing.
Yeah, observing.
Yeah. Wonderful. Bertold, we reached to the end. I really enjoyed this conversation, and we started from the facilitator loneliness and how can we stay nourishing in the field as facilitators, and we went through stations, and I think one of the things you say that is nourishing for you is actually the field, being part of the field, and also recognizing if you feel lonely, maybe go to a private session to work about your loneliness and what the roots of this loneliness.
Yeah. Is
No,
there still
you.
time? So then I
Yeah, we
just,
have. Yes, please.
my basic exercise is you come out of a session, you feel lonely, you stand in your room, you imagine the situation you just had, you see your client, you breathe, you feel your loneliness, you feel that what you had. Just you may say, I feel lonely, and then you turn 180 degrees and look in your back and see, imagine looking to your childhood, to your parents, and to the ancestors, to the past, your personal, your family past. And you see from where loneliness is coming. And probably there you find your roots of loneliness. And when you have seen it and felt it or accepted it, when you turn now back to the client, you feel in a different way. No more lonely. Maybe more loving because you share the same loneliness.
Oh, nice. I really enjoyed this exercise, and I have to tell you, I learned it in one of your workshops. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and I constantly use it, not just in a facilitation area, in everything that I face. When I wake up in the morning, I can do this exercise sometimes, and it's really giving me a good place to start. So I recommend.
Yeah. And I just think when I'm later totally forgotten, I hope this exercise is surviving.
It is surviving. Yes. Bertold, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sitting with me and talking about this and, inspiring many people who listen. Um,
Yeah, it's a joy, I just say, for me.
it's more than joy for me. It's learning, it's joyful, and it's a lot of connection that I feel, which is always good. So I will see you next time. And till then, enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy too.
Thank you. Thank you, Bertold.
Bye.